So welcome once again. In our last videos, we spoke about the duties of an employer and the rights of an employer as spelled out in the Labor Act 2003, Access 51. Today we are going to talk about the rights of an employee and the duties of an employee in an organization. So whoever employs you, whether it's an organization, it's a business, it's in somebody's home, wherever it is that you are given some form of employment, there are some expectations of you as an employee, and you also have a duty as the employee, and then you have a right as the employee. The fact that somebody has employed you doesn't mean that you don't have any rights. You have a right to talk about some things, but you also have a duty to fulfill that contract that the person is giving you. So we'll read from the act and then we'll try to explain it. So let's go into the rights of a worker. So the rights of a worker include the right to, one, that's A, work under satisfactory, safe and healthy conditions. Now when your environment is not safe, it's not healthy, it's not satisfactory, you have every right to walk away. You cannot be in an environment that is not safe for your health, it's not safe for you to work in, an environment that you can easily get hurt. If it's not safe, it's not safe. And so you have a right to say, I'm not going to work in this kind of environment. And so it's either you work on it or I leave. You have a right to do that. So you have a right to work in a safe, satisfactory and healthy environment. B, receive equal pay for equal work done without the extension of any kind. So you have a right to receive equal work, equal pay for equal work done. Once that you have employed, you have been employed, and you have agreed that you are going to pay me 1,000 cedis a week, I have a right to receive that 1,000 cedis a week once I have done the work. And the payment for the work that I'm doing has to be fair. It has to be equal to the effort I'm putting in. I cannot come and work the whole week and at the end of the day you give me 50 cedis for the whole week, for work done the whole week. That's very unfair. And so usually the pay is dependent on what was agreed on. And so don't also think as an employee that, I mean, we agreed that you give me 1,000 cedis, but I spent 3 months, so you have to give me 3,000. It doesn't work like that. Whatever agreement you have made or whatever contract you have agreed on, that's what we follow. So you have the right to earn equal pay for the amount of work, equal amount of work you've done, whatever was paid. So C says, have rest, leisure and reasonable limitation of working hours and period of holidays with pay, as well as remuneration for public holidays. So you have the right to take leave, have breaks. I mean, you don't work continuously and not have a break. It's very illegal not to have a break. You deserve a break. Even when your employee is well rested, they are more efficient. So it's even important that you, the employer, ensure that that employee has rest, because if you overwork them and God forbid they die, you lose a resource. So yes, as an employee, you have the right to rest. You have a right to take a break, at your workplace. You have a right to enjoy your holidays, still with pay if it's a weekday, unless maybe you are an essential staff and they really need you on that holiday. You can come to an agreement of some sort to maybe work on that holiday, but on the day that you can take a break, you're allowed to take your break. So you have the right to rest, you have the right to leisure, you have the right to reasonable limitation of working hours and period of holidays with pay, and also remuneration for public holidays. You cannot say today is a public holiday, Monday, I didn't come to work so you're not going to pay me. No, it's a public holiday, national statutory holiday. I have a right to enjoy that holiday and still get paid if it's a weekday. You have a right to form or join a trade union. So usually trade unions are organizations or groups that represent workers and their rights. So you have, as an employee, you have the right to join a trade union. Some organizations, once you're employed, there's a trade union you can join, but there are some people who don't also have trade unions to join. But if there's a trade union you can join as a worker, you have the right to join it. You have the right to be trained and retained for the development of your skills. So you have the right to be trained, you have the right to be retained on your job and receive information relevant to his or her work. So you have the right to receive every information that's relevant to your work. You cannot be employed and be giving half and half information. It will make your work difficult. So you have the right to know everything that you need to know to make your work easy, to make it efficient, to even ensure that you are doing it the right way it has to be done. You have the right to every information that's needed for the kind of work you have agreed to go and do. And so it will not be right for an employer to just give you part of the information and just leave you there. No, you should know everything that the work entails, expectations of you as the employee, what your remuneration is, what leave allocations you have, the breaks you are allowed. You have rights to all those information, and all these will make your work worthwhile. Thank you. We'll talk about the duties of the worker in our next video. See you.